Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Sultanate and Austria announce in political talks session their orientation to explore more cooperation opportunities and economic partnership and confirm importance of dialogue to solve current regional and international issues. The Sultanate and Saudi Arabia discuss investments in the digital economy at a workshop in Muscat. And the Ministry of Health announces 0 deaths, 58 new COVID-19 cases and 98 recoveries. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. His Highness Sayyid the Yazan bin Haytham Al Saeed, Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, received a written message from His Excellency Ali Al-Abid, Minister of Culture of the Kingdom of Jordan, when he received His Excellency Amjad Al-Qawi, Ambassador of the Kingdom of Jordan to the Sultanate. During the meeting, they reviewed the good bilateral relations between the two countries and aspects of the existing cooperation between them in the cultural field. His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Al-Nu'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, received Her Excellency Lizzie M. Su, the U.S. Ambassador accredited to the Sultanate. During the meeting, they reviewed historical relations linking the Sultanate and the United States of America in all fields and ways to develop them in order to enhance joint cooperation between the two friendly countries, as well as a number of issues of common interest. The ambassador extended her thanks and appreciation to the Sultanate for the role it plays in the region and the existing cooperation relations between the Sultanate and the friendly United States of America. His Excellency General Sultan bin Mohammed Al-Nu'mani, Minister of the Royal Office, received His Excellency Alexander Schallenberg, Federal Minister for European and International Affairs of the Austrian Republic, and his accompanying delegation. His Excellency the Minister of the Royal Office welcomed the guests, stressing the depth of bilateral relations between the two friendly countries, the development they witnessed in many fields, and the attention paid by the leaderships of the two countries. For his part, the guest expressed his thanks and appreciation to the Sultanate and its role at the regional and international levels, in addition to addressing a number of matters of common interest. His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad bin Mahmoud Al-Busaidi, Minister of Foreign Affairs, held a session of political talks with His Excellency Alexander Schallenberg, Federal Minister for European and International Affairs of the Austrian Republic. The two ministers expressed their satisfaction with the level of the existing bilateral relations and the approach of the two countries to explore more opportunities for cultural and tourism cooperation, vocational training, technology transfer, and economic and investment partnership that would bring benefits to the two friendly countries. The session also dealt with a number of regional and global issues and developments and exchanged views on them. Meanwhile, His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al-Busaidi, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Alexander Schallenberg, Federal Minister for European Affairs of the Republic of Austria, signed a memorandum of understanding on political consultations between the Sultanate and Austria. His Excellency Alexander Schallenberg, Federal Minister for European Affairs of the Republic of Austria, inaugurated the headquarters of the Austrian Embassy in Muscat in the presence of His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al-Busaidi, Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Austrian Federal Minister for European Affairs said that the opening of the embassy is an important step for activating bilateral relations between the two friendly countries and enhancing aspects of joint cooperation, especially in the commercial fields. For his part, the Minister of Foreign Affairs stressed that the opening of the embassy will contribute to strengthening the friendship and cooperation relations between the two countries in the cultural, tourism, and commercial fields, pointing to the desire of both sides to develop these relations and push them towards wider horizons in the service of common interest. The Sultanate and the Republic of Austria stressed the importance of constructive dialogue in order to resolve various current regional and international issues and crises. This came during a joint press conference held by His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Hamad Al Busaidi, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and His Excellency Alexander Schallenberg, Federal Minister for European Affairs of the Republic of Austria. His Excellency the Foreign Minister spoke about the Yemeni crisis, stressing that the Sultanate was and still supports peace and security in the region, and that all concerned parties have become keen and convinced of the importance of ending the crisis for the sake of the stability of Yemen, its people, and the region in general. For his part, the Federal Minister for European Affairs of the Republic of Austria said that the role played by the Sultanate in various regional issues has become clear and evident, stressing that the Sultanate and Austria support the efforts of the UN envoy to Yemen and have identical views on many files in the region, such as the Yemeni crisis, the Iranian nuclear file, and the situation in Afghanistan.
We share a clear commitment to effective multilateralism. We share a commitment to dialogue, to mediate, and we are bridge builders, both of our countries. And there are many things, as we started discussing today, about the areas of interest in the neighborhood, from Yemen to Iran to Afghanistan to the Gulf Cooperation Council and others. It is always fascinating to hear the Omani view. You have this gift of being able to talk to everybody, and everybody trusts you. And it's very interesting and very good to be back here and to intensify this kind of approach we have in our political consultations. And I'm happy that we signed this memorandum of understanding, so we have a very regular consultation from now on. There are so many things which are going on in this region which are positive. If I think of the Al-Ula summit, I think of the direct talks between Iran and Saudi Arabia. I talk about your efforts in Yemen to find a political solution. There's no other way than to find a political solution.
His Excellency Alexander Schallenberg and his delegation visited the Maritime Security Center today. Upon the guest's arrival, he was received by Rear Admiral Saif bin Nasser al-Rahbi, Commander of the Royal Navy of Oman, RNO, and Commodore Mohammed Hamoud Az-Zajali, head of the MSC. The guest toured around the center facilities and its modern technologies that harmonized with the duties of the center. He was also briefed about the role and tasks directed by MSC within its national duties through coordination with concerned bodies and rescue and searching operations, and those concerned about the maritime environment safety. The activities of the joint ministerial workshop on digital economy between the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia began today in Muscat. More details in the following report.
To exchange expertise and experiences in the field of digital economy and discuss joint initiatives and projects in this area. A three-day joint ministerial workshop between the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia began today in Muscat. The Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology reviewed various indicators of the digital economy in the Sultanate and the related initiatives and projects.
The ICT sector is a growing sector, and there are a lot to be exchanged and learned between both sides, between the Omani side and Saudi side. We are looking forward to come up with joint projects and initiatives between Oman and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we are hopeful that joint projects will help both countries advance the digital agenda, inshallah.
The seminar also aimed to activate the bilateral cooperation agreement between the Sultanate and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in the fields of communications and information technology, as well as the promising investment opportunities in this field.
The relationship between Saudi Arabia and the Sultanate of Oman in the areas of telecommunication and information technology is well established. The two countries have agreed to sign a memorandum of understanding between His Excellency the Minister of Transportation, Telecommunications and Information Technology of Oman and the Minister of Communications and Information Technology in Saudi Arabia upon the imminent visit of His Excellency the Omani Minister to Saudi Arabia in October. So we're here to prepare for that visit first, and second, to agree on the programs that will activate this MOU upon its signature. The various pillars of this MOU include information technology, emerging technologies, funding, human capital development, infrastructure, as well as regulatory and policies, issues related to the information technologies and telecommunication in the two countries.
The workshop included 4 joint discussion sessions shedding light on laws and legislations of the telecommunications, information technology, postal and international cooperation sectors, capacity building and future skills, digital transformation, infrastructure and digital platforms, and investments, startups, and e-commerce. The bilateral discussion sessions are expected to enhance the joint projects in areas of digital economy and accelerate the work pace to achieve the desired growth in both countries. Salih Bukhalfan al-Rahbi, Sultanate of Oman Television, Muscat.
The state budget's closing account issued by the Ministry of Finance shows that the actual revenues received during 2020 was less than the approved budget. The ministry said in a statement that this decline is due to a 24.7% slump in oil and gas revenues, which is more than 1.9 billion riyals, being the difference between the actual average oil price of $47.6 per barrel and the approved price of $58 set for the 2020 budget. Gas revenues by the end of 2020 stood at 1,860.2 million Omani riyals, down by 339,000.8 million riyals as compared to the allocated budget. This was due to the slump in international oil prices and a decline in gas sales locally and abroad from 1.459 trillion thermal units to 1.297 trillion thermal units. Actual non-oil revenues by the end of 2020 stood at 2,705.5 million riyals, less by 294.5 million Omani riyals from approved budget estimates, or 9.8%. The decline is attributed to a shrinkage in government services during the period of COVID-19 lockdown and government decisions aimed to ease pressure on private sector's companies. This was coupled with a decline in economic and commercial activities, eventually leading to less fees and less taxes as approved at the start of the year. The actual spending of the defense and security sector dropped by 6.15 million Omani riyals, or 17.8% from approved budget estimates. The expenditure of civil ministries stood at 4,588.5 million Omani riyals, exactly equal to approved budget estimate surpluses from a 10% cut to spending allocations of civil ministries were used to meet the exceptional requirements and address COVID-19, notably in the oil, education, and security sectors. However, the government met its commitment to repay external and local loans worth 1,072.9 million Omani riyals in accordance with the agreed settlement plan. Still to come in our news bulletin. Apple certifies through its industrial protocol the first ever Omani and Arab brand in the world. The Ministry of Health reported 0 deaths, 58 new COVID-19 cases and 98 recoveries. The ministry also reported that the total number of COVID-19 cases registered in the Sultanate reached 303,163, while the total number of deaths reached 4,089. The total recovered cases reached 293,343. The ministry indicated that the total number of inpatients in the Sultanate hospitals reached 66, of which 28 are in intensive care units. The total number of people vaccinated with anti-coronavirus vaccines in the Sultanate since the beginning of the national campaign for immunization against COVID-19 until yesterday, with at least one dose, reached 2,710,021 people, or 76.3%, while the total of those vaccinated with 2 doses reached 1,626,851 people, a rate of 45.8%, and the total doses given reached 4,336,872 doses. The Ministry of Health continues the expanded vaccination campaign for the target groups with the anti-coronavirus vaccines in all governorates of the Sultanate, and the immunization centers witnessed today a wide turnout since the early morning of the campaign's targets, which confirm the great societal awareness about the importance of immunization against COVID-19. The National Committee for Family Affairs reviewed the report of the 4th National Review of the Madrid International Plan of Action on Aging, which the Sultanate will submit to the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Western Asia, ESCWA, at the end of September. During its second meeting this year, the committee discussed the guidelines for the guiding guide for protecting children on the internet and how to activate its role in the media. The meeting also covered other topics such as the multi-sectoral joint system or multi-sectoral joint system, case management. The meeting was chaired by Her Excellency Dr. Leila bint Ahmed al-Najjar, Minister of Social Development and Chairperson of the committee. The electronic exams for more than 1,500 job seekers in public sector have begun at the University of Technology and Applied Sciences in Al Khuwair in Muscat Governorate. More details in the following report.
The electronic exams for job seekers in the public sector began today at the University of Technology and Applied Sciences in Al Khuwair. The Ministry of Labour invited 1,541 applicants to compete for 80 job opportunities offered to a number of government sectors. The exams are for a period of 3 days. Saif bin Sulaiman bin Saif al-Shaqsi, Assistant Director of the Department of Recruitment and Replacement at the governmental sector, said the ministry has invited more than 1,500 job seekers to compete for the 80 job opportunities offered in 7 government units, namely the Ministries of Health, Education, Housing and Urban Planning, Higher Education, Research and Innovation, the Administrative Affairs Council of the Judiciary, the National Museum and the Ministry of Social Development. Al-Shaqsi indicated that 485 male and female job seekers applied on Monday to compete for 35 jobs, 474 to compete for 23 jobs on September 14, 2021, while 582 job seekers are expected to compete on September 15 for 22 jobs. Prior to the exams, qualifications of the applicants are checked and sorted out. The tests are conducted electronically according to the Central Employment System. Then the results appear immediately on the applicants' screens. It's worth mentioning that the tests are held daily from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for a period of 30 minutes.
Barq for Advanced Technology has successfully certified one of its products with Apple Industrial Protocol as the first ever Omani and Arab brand in the world to get one of its products certified by Apple company. More details in the following report.
Engineer Saoud Al-Mkheni, founder of BRQ Advanced Technology and product development engineer, succeeded to apply Apple Industrial Protocol. Apple company uses this protocol to certify smartphones accessories quality by matching it with the device safety standards.
We are actually a consumer electronics product company. Actually, we established our business in 2020, and we have till now 6 products. Most of them are in mobile phone sectors.
The product, which was certified, went through various stages, starting from the idea, then production process, and finally the approval.
Actually, we get approval for the MFI certified cable. Actually, MFI protocol is a protocol made by Apple in 2012. Actually, we go through many industrial steps from gathering all the parts and also planning all the engineering plans. And we also start make some tests for the product on the different labs. Most of them, they are certified by Apple. Till the last process of production of the product also and distributed here in Oman.
Engineer Saoud was also able to design the smallest weather station in the world, and his brand produced more than 6 products. National talents have succeeded in different fields, and they have translated their creative ideas into reality. And here with me, Engineer Saoud is one of the best examples of that. Seeing an Omani product reaching world-class level is just amazing. Sultan bin Saif al-Sarai from South Al-Sharqiyya Governorate, Wilaya of Sur.
Al-Lagal, an Omani village in the Wilaya of Wadi Al-Maawil, narrates deep-rooted history of its own town. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i.
The village of Al-Lagal in the Wilayat of Wadi Al-Maawil in the South Al-Batina Governorate is advantaged with many archaeological, touristic and development landmarks that continue to narrate the history of the past to the present day, with a promising future through its natural components such as hot Falaj water springs, farms, forts and towers. The Falaj Subeikha, which run spring water across farms in Lajal, is extremely hot. I moved far away from the mother well, where I managed to wash my hands comfortably while enjoying the temperature of spring water that was a bit away from mother well. It's worth mentioning that there is a big difference between warm springs and hot springs, and you can't necessarily tell the difference just by looking. In fact, hot springs can appear deceptively cool.
Al-Lagal village, one of the famous villages located in South Batina. It is in Wadi Al-Maawil. It's famous of 5 villages here. All these villages are hot. The hottest when we are sitting around As-Subeikha village. The temperature of this village around 60 to 65 degrees. No one can have a bath here near the Ain al-village.
I'm proud to be on this village in Lajal.
The local pharmacy in Lajal grow so many crops. Mainly they grow palm trees. They can grow at some seasons. They can grow onion, cucumber, garlic, papaya and banana. If we talk about the palm trees, the most famous one is al-khalas. If we talk about the other types, one of which is nagal, mabsli, khsab, khanezi, and so on.
In the center of the village, on a small hill, one would witness an old town surrounded by a semicircular wall. The Omani hand skillfully created the architecture design of the ancient village. Part of this mud and stone structure still remains in place. The village, which enjoys all these heritage and tourist landmarks, has received many development services that meet the needs of the people in all sectors. What a great scenery here that you can see an old village that reflects the past. And on the other side you see oases of palm trees. This is Al-Lajal in the wilayat of Wadi Al-Ma'awal that takes you on a special journey to live on olden days. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai, Sultanate of Oman Television, Al-Lajal.
This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main headlines once again. The Sultanate and Austria announce in political talk session their orientation to explore more cooperation opportunities and economic partnership and confirm importance of dialogue to solve current regional and international issues. The Sultanate and Saudi Arabia discuss investments in the digital economy at a workshop in Muscat. And the Ministry of Health announces 0 deaths, 58 new COVID-19 cases and 98 recoveries. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night and stay safe.